Now, before we go into chapter 2, I do want to talk about Boaz's name. Boaz's name means fleetness. Okay? Boaz's name means fleetness. So, like, speedy would be, like, I'd be a modern translation, like Speedy Gonzalez, he's everywhere. Like, he is, like, in order to be that. Now, here's the thing that we get into the story. He talks about, I'm an old man, you could have went after younger men. He is a fleetness. So there is a whole piece of, him being spry as a young man in contrast to the husband's sickly and frail. So his name is in contrast to sickly and frail. His name is also in contrast to his age. So we have these things like his name tells us he might be a viable candidate, but then we're going to learn about him and we're going to go, maybe it's not. Okay, so let's dive in. An artsy Bible nerd, welcome in, friend. So now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side of the family named Fleetness, Boaz. He was wealthy, prominent man from the clan of Elimelech. One day, Ruth, friendship, the Moabitess, said to pleasant Naomi, let me go to the field so I can gather grain behind whoever permits me to do so. Naomi replied, you may go, my daughter. So Ruth went and gathered grain in the fields behind the harvesters. Now, she just happened to end up in the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Now, at the very moment, Boaz Fleetness arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. May the Lord be with you, they replied. May the Lord bless you. Boaz asked the servants in charge of the harvesters, to whom does this young woman belong? The servants in charge of the harvesters replied, she is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the region of Moab. She asked, may I follow the harvesters and gather grain among the bundles? Since she arrived, she has been working hard from morning until now, except for sitting and resting hut for a short time. So Boaz said to Ruth, listen carefully, my dear. Do not leave to gather grain in another field. You need not go beyond the limits of this field. You may go along beside my female workers. Take note of the field where the men are harvesting and follow behind the female workers. I will tell the men to leave you alone. When you are thirsty, you may go to the water jars and drink some of the water the servants draw. Ruth knelt before him and her forehead to the ground, and she said to him, why are you so kind and so attentive to me, even though I am a foreigner? Boaz replied to her, I have been given a full report of all you have done for your mother-in-law following the death of your husband, how you left your father and your mother as well as your homeland and came to live among a people you did not know previously. May the Lord reward your efforts. May your acts of kindness be repaid fully by the Lord God of Israel, from whom you have sought protection. She said, you really are being kind to me, sir, for you have reassured and encouraged me, your servant, even though I will never be like one of your servants. Later, during the mealtime, Boaz said to her, come here and have some food. Dip your bread in the vinegar. So she sat down beside the harvesters. Then he handed her some roast grain. She ate until she was full and saved the rest. When she got up to gather grain, Boaz told his male servants, let her gather grain even among the bundles. Don't chase her off. Make sure you pull out ears of grain for her and drop them so she can gather them up. Don't tell her not to. So she gathered grain in the field until evening. When she threshed what she had gathered, it came to about 30 pounds of barley. She carried it back to town to her mother-in-law, how much grain she had gathered. Then Ruth gave her the roasted grain she had saved from mealtime. Her mother-in-law asked her, where did you gather grain today? Where did you work? May the one who took notice of you be rewarded. So Ruth told her mother-in-law whom she had worked. She said, The name of the man with whom I work today is Boaz. Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, May he be rewarded by the Lord because he has shown loyalty to the living on behalf of the dead. Then Naomi said to her, This man is a close relative of ours. He is our guardian. Ruth the Moabite replied, He even told me, You may go along beside my servants until they have finished gathering all my harvest. Naomi then said to her daughter-in-law, It is good, my daughter, that you should go to work with the female servants. That way you will not be harmed, which could happen in another field. So Ruth worked beside Boaz's female servants, gathering grain until the end of the barley harvest, as well as the wheat harvest. After that, she stayed home with her mother-in-law. Yeah, the man who took notice. Did Boaz have eyes for Ruth before she did? Yeah, Boaz did his research. Yes. Well, he was impressed with her character. He definitely had his research on her character. T. West, the way you read the Bible is abundantly delightful to listen. Thank you, friend. I wish like I said, it would be better if I just took each person and did one voice and read those and pieced it together, but I'm on the fly, and I know sometimes the males all end up sounding the same, or I switch voices on the same person when I go back and forth, but yeah, Rocky Road, yes. Okay, they're giving you some info ahead of time. Hey, there's a family member going to be introduced, going to be important, pay attention. And then it's like, hey, the barley harvest is going on. We need to have food. Let me go. Thanks, Papsio, for the lurk. We need to get some food. So let me just go get something. Let me help. Let me go out. Let me try my hand. It's like, you can go. Like, whatever. Like, Naomi is in a position, if you've ever been in this position where you are in bitter sorrow, like, it just doesn't matter. She is in meh. You want to go? Yeah, help yourself. Knock yourself out. Like, that would be my modern translation of it. Knock yourself out. Go whatever. You may go. So she goes to gather grain. Now, I love how it just sets us up. Just sets it up. She just so happened into the portion of the... There's no just so happened. It was divine. It was divine that she ends up there. It is divine that she ends up there. God guided her. How? We don't know. Doesn't matter. We know it happened. We know it's true. She, later on in the story, Naomi knows it's true. Boaz, it's just so good. Yes, his traveling mercies, absolutely. So she ends up there. Boaz shows up like, hey, who's that? Who's that? It's her? I know all about her. And then the servant is also giving her a report of the work, steadiness, and diligence that she has. So he talks to her, says, hey, you're welcome to stay. Don't go anywhere else. I've heard all about you. I know who you are. You get to stay. I'm not going to let you go anywhere else. And now watch the progression as it happens. Then he's watching her, and he says, hey, it's lunchtime. It's a break time. Or here's a meal for you. Have a meal. And then she goes out, and then he's watching her, and he's like, hey, guys, let her work closer. Let her work straight up with the bundles. Quit. She doesn't have to be in the back with the scraps. Just let her gather whatever she wants. Like, let her give a full on. And you know what? Even pull some stock out. You're putting the stalks together. Leave some there. Just leave it easy for her. Help her out. Okay? Make it easy for her to gather as much as she can. And he also warns her, stay beside my female workers. Like, this time of year can be dangerous. You're a foreigner, okay? Don't give the other men an excuse to come and harm you. He is protecting her when he does not need to. She is a foreigner, okay? But God has a heart for, and we should have a heart for the poor, the widow, the orphan, and a foreigner. Now, she's not an orphan that we know of, because Naomi says, go back to your mother. So she's not an orphan. Okay, but she is poor and destitute because there was a famine, and now she's returned with Naomi, and there's no means of a provider for the family. So she's definitely going to classify as poor. She definitely is classifying as a widow, and she definitely is classifying as a foreigner. So Boaz is showing grace and mercy to 3 out of the 4 categories in one person that God says throughout the Old Testament that is what we're supposed to be doing, and they regularly were not. They were exploiting those groups of people. So he makes sure, and he's like, hey, and when you're thirsty, there's the water jars. My servants will draw for you. Go and do that. So she goes, she returns, And then when she gets done, she goes and threshes. So she works all day harvesting. Then she threshes all day. And then she returns home. And she gives all of this to her mother-in-law. Where was the... Trying to find the 30... How much she gathered. Anyway, it was 30-something. It was an abundant amount. Oh, there it is, 30 pounds. I want to see what the footnote says. This is a huge amount of barley for one woman to gather in a single day. This testifies both to Ruth's industry and Boaz's generosity. It was an ephah. The ephah was a dry measure, 1/10 of an omer. An ephah was equivalent to a bath, a liquid measurement jar. A bath found, archaeologists cite. Let's just say 6 gallons is what it is. So equaling 29, 30 pounds. So 30 pounds of barley. And this is after she's threshed it. Okay. She goes back to the mother-in-law. Naomi's like, how in the world did you get this much? Like, if you were in our own field, you would not come home with this much. You would not. There wouldn't be that much that you would come home with. So it's just an amazing feat that you've accomplished. Tell me who this was. Who took notice of you? Oh, my goodness. Naomi is like, it is Boaz. It is Fleetness. He is a relative. He is from our clan. He's taken notice of you. She has now seen a reversal of God has been against me to now, maybe not. Maybe not. It is good, my daughter-in-law. Stay there. No one will harm you. It says she stays through all of that. So there we go. That's the setup there. And Marzi, welcome in. Post-it note. All right. We haven't done a post-it note in